Play at Novibet.
Hello and a warm welcome to another edition of the Irish Angle, brought to you by Novibet. As usual, I've Emma Nagle and Johnny Ward here. Johnny, Emma, welcome back, or welcome back to me, I suppose. I haven't been here for weeks. Yeah, 3 weeks without me. You got on all right, did you?
Obviously not.
Yeah, there's a bit of awkward silence between me and Johnny now. I think we missed you big time, I think, yeah.
All right, good stuff. Well, you can bring me up to speed with everything, because I have no idea what's happened. I've been totally out of the racing loop for 3 weeks. Just came back at the weekend, so I did see a bit of the Guineas all right at the Curragh. But first of all, Emma, you went to Martinstown last week to see Istabraq for his birthday. 32 years old. How did that go?
Oh, it was absolutely incredible. I think I came out of the place grinning from ear to ear. I'd say I didn't stop smiling until I got soaked in the Curragh yesterday. It was probably one of the I don't want to be dramatic, but probably one of the best days of my life. Like, just seeing the horses they have down there. Like, I was kind of expecting. I was very lucky. Like, they were so accommodating to let me come to the birthday party to get some stuff for Irish racing, and I was just expecting to see Istabraq, maybe eating a birthday cake and that would be it. But they kind of went above and beyond kind of to make the day brilliant for everyone who was there. And God, I got to see, like, we were driving up along a line of horses. And I think the first field we went into was Capodanno and Meeting of the Waters. I was kind of happy enough with that. Next field then, Fact of Five and Owoko, in the same field together. Next door, I Am Maximus, Corbett's Cross. Just above from them was, I think, I Know the Way You're Thinking, and Spillan's Tower. We got to the end of that line then, and he said, "Is there anyone else you want to see now?" And my jaw was kind of on the floor at this stage. Like, I was after seeing probably about 6 or 7 Gold Cup horses in the space of 30 seconds. And then he said, "Oh, John Bond's up the top here if you want to see him as well." And I was like, Jesus Christ, like, it's never going to end. And John Bond was inside in the field with more of that then, and he was kind of nearly half forgotten about the fella that was near a world hurdle winner there a few years ago. So yeah, look, it was absolutely incredible. And to see Istabraq kind of in the shape he is, like, you'd nearly be expecting, going to see a horse at that age, they nearly be half hiding, maybe they mightn't be in the best condition being 32, but he had his rug off, looking $1 million. Like, you wouldn't think he was half the age he is, and it wouldn't be a shock to see him go for another 10 years, like the care he gets down there. Yeah, it was kind of a once in a lifetime experience, and geez, I'm still kind of coming off a cloud over it, to be honest.
And what were the facilities like? Unbelievable, I'd imagine.
Sure. I mean, the best. Like, it's like Disneyland, really for horses. Like, you're kind of driving in the yard, and, like, I mean, all the horses there. I suppose the ones in training, kind of, they just stay out in the field, kind of allowed to be horses for summer, I suppose. But, like, the likes of Istabraq there, he kind of has a work routine. I think he gets hand walked every day, and the best of the best. Yeah, like, it's everything is perfect. There isn't a blade of grass out of place there. A lot of work goes in there, and yeah, it's something I think you'd really be happy never to go to another yard again after seeing Martinstown, because it was just incredible.
That's fantastic, yeah. And the birthday, did you bring a present?
Yeah, there was loads of presents there, from birthday cake and everything. Like, I think Aidan O'Brien, Charlie Swan, loads of racing royalty all down there to give Istabraq the birthday present. But he was definitely star of the show. I think John Kiley as well, the Limerick hurling manager, was down there. I think it was his birthday as well. So yeah, JP definitely went above and beyond to get the stars of the sport, and, like, to have a horse to be able to have this kind of birthday party, to get the likes of Aidan O'Brien and Charlie Swan down for the day. And I think there was champagne and everything. Probably one of the best parties I've been at anyway for a 32-year-old horse. It wasn't too bad.
That's fantastic, yeah. Have you ever been down there, Johnny?
No, actually, I haven't. But it's actually quite cool to hear that. Like, I think we'd all like to have spend some of our summer holidays in Martinstown. If we were lucky enough to have the wealth and resources that JP has had. I actually got a tour of Adare Manor. Well, like, not a tour of it so much. I was driven through it there when I stayed in the Dunraven there last year for the Limerick National, and it's an amazing spot, in fairness. And, like, Adare, that general region, like, JP has done wonders for it, for sure. And yeah, watching the Limerick hurlers yesterday, they've certainly benefited from his patronage as well.
Yeah, without a doubt, yeah. Anyway, maybe we'll get a few quid off him someday. You never know. Anyway, we'll move on. Guineas weekend. Emma, you went to the Curragh yesterday. Like a drowned rat, I'd say, were you?
Yeah, kind of hiding from the rain the whole time. Smallish crowd. To be honest, I actually thought there might have been less there, given I suppose there was kind of a few things off-putting for the crowd, like the weather being the massive one. But Johnny mentioned the hurling there. There's a few other kind of sporting things on, but kind of apart from the weather, I thought it was quite a good day. I saw another steal a stat from Fran Berry put up on Twitter this morning. 19 different trainers had winners of 24 races over the weekend, so nice spread. The UK challengers obviously had a big one, but yeah, no, it was a good day. Now, weather permitting, like you kind of had to hide inside for most of the day, but I thought the racing was pretty enjoyable.
Yeah, those thunderstorms are a nuisance, aren't they? They can wreck a good day out, there's no doubt about it. But the racing itself, I thought it was very good. It's great to see such high quality British trained horses coming over for an Irish meeting. And we could do with them at lots more of the jump ones, particularly because we don't see it. Then again, they probably don't have the quality to be bringing over either. But just in general terms, we don't get that competition on this side of the water. It's always in the UK at Royal Ascots and Cheltenhams and Aintries where we see all these big clashes. But it was terrific. Johnny, what did you make? We saw some very good horses.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was actually disappointed. Just couldn't go at the weekend. And I always enjoy going racing at the Curragh. I think, Vinny, that there's a bit of a chasm between the quality in Ireland and Britain at the moment on the flat, to be honest. And there's probably no sign that that's going to change in the near future, because basically, Frankel and Dubawi are the premier sires. Galileo has kind of left the scene now. And Aidan only has a handful of 2-year-olds by him this year. Obviously, had a very good Galileo breadwinner yesterday, but in general, you look at the Guineas. Donncha O'Brien trained the second in the Fillies Guineas at Newmarket, but in the 2000 Guineas, Ireland really wasn't mapped. We'll see how the Derby works out, but I don't think Ireland. We just don't really have proper horses here at the moment. We don't really have superstars, and that's going to be interesting. It was no surprise that Richard Hannon had a 1-2 in the Guineas, albeit one of them bred by the National Studs sire Phoenix of Spain. But yeah, it was really, really good race. And Rosalian coming over was excellent. Like Sean Levy, his first ride was at the Curragh like 20 odd years ago, whatever it is, and for him to come over and win his first Irish Classic, his first ride in the Curragh in years, hadn't been here since it was done up, was really special. Nice photos of him with his parents afterwards, and yeah, we'd really, really cracking racing over the weekend. But I'd be interested to see how the Derby goes on Saturday, because I'm really not sure of the strength of the Irish horse at the moment.
Yeah, I see that it's the first time in 20 years that both Guineas in Ireland were won by British trained horses. We've had a few of them dotted around, but to get both of them in the 1 year, it's been 20 years, 2004. Aidan, he's only had one winner in the Irish 2000 Guineas in 7 years. That's an astonishing stat, isn't it, considering his dominance of every classic in Ireland over the last 30 odd years. But what do you make of that, Emma? Just generally, Aidan's horses, we'd expect a little bit more, would we, in the Guineas, the two Guineas?
Yeah, I think people are kind of talking a lot about the stable form. To be honest, I think it's kind of been blown a little bit out of proportion, to be honest. Like I think they're still operating on about 23-24% strike rate. Like he still was it 3 or 4 winners and plenty of seconds over the weekend. Like I suppose looking at his runners in the Guineas, I saw people pulling out loads of different stats about Aidan's horses going into the Irish Guineas first time. I think normally he does an awful lot better if they had a prep run. Obviously, both runners over the weekend, it was their first start for the season. And I thought they both ran fairly respectable races. River Tiber, I was actually pretty impressed by. I thought the Irish, the Colts race was pretty strong. It was a good test, it was Newmarket for him. And the winner, like, in fairness, Sean Levy was so confident on him. And I think the horse even got him out of a hole a small bit, because he was plenty far back, but he showed a good turn of foot. But I thought River Tiber, he proved he stayed, and he'll definitely come on for the run. And Opera Singer, kind of same thing again. She should step forward on it. I think the whole stable form thing is being a little bit blown out of proportion. He probably just doesn't have the stars that maybe he had over the previous years. Maybe City of Troy might come out and prove them right, I suppose. He's been fairly bullish about him the whole time. But Augusta Rodan, another one, I suppose, maybe slightly disappointed for the year. But I mean, I think kind of having this debate with a few people yesterday, I think if you take out White Birch, everyone's saying Augusta Rodan back to his best, brilliant winner of the Gold Cup. I just think White Birch might have actually improved past Augusta Rodan. Augusta Rodan might be maybe on the same level as he was last year, but maybe he'll come on for the run again. But I don't think you can take away from White Birch's performance at all in the Gold Cup. I think he has improved massively from 3 to 4, whereas that kind of remains to be seen about Augusta Rodan. Has he improved at all this year? He blew out Maidan. He had a very solid race yesterday, I think, but I think the John Murphy trained colt could be really good this year.
I think so. Said that a few weeks ago here. I thought when I saw him reappear at 4, I thought he could be the real deal this year. And he looks at what's amazing here is on ratings as well. He's currently going into the race at the weekend. He's rated 13 pounds lower than Augustus Rodan and beats him 3 lengths. And Augustus Rodan beats everything else 8 lengths. So it probably is a fair yardstick that maybe Augustus Rodan is somewhere near where he was last year. Maybe not quite at that because he's very in and out, isn't he? But White Birch could be something to follow all season. What do you think, Johnny?
Yeah, and he's an incredible kind of a horse for Ulysses as well, who's, you'd have to say fairly run-of-the-mill stallion who's in Britain now, and this lad has just been a standard bearer. I thought this was quite an astonishing performance, to be honest. Like, I did tip him in the race, but like when I tipped him, I think he was 5 or 6 to 1. He went off 15 to 8. He was still being backed on course, despite the fact his price had contracted massively, and the fact he was taking on, as you say, a horse who's like rated a little bit higher than him. I was expecting Augusta Rodan, the way Aidan spoke when myself and him were at the yard. He was quite confident that he'd returned form, but it does look like he's improved past him. Like I thought the ground would be almost a little bit on the quick side for him relative to other horses, but he travelled unbelievably in the race. I think Colin Keane's given him a lot of confidence, and the owner now and John Murphy, like John Murphy's himself and George, they're running a very good operation down there. But to have a horse like this, like what he could be in terms of a sire as well down the line, like he's still an entire. I'm sure they're going to have great fun with him. He's a fine block of a horse, and you imagine his progeny, while they may not be necessarily precocious, he's going to get good horses. And this was an outstanding performance. They were 11 lengths clear at third in what to me looked like a very genuine renewal of the race, and really exciting times for the Murphys.
Oh, without a doubt, yeah. They've got a season to look forward to, haven't they? Without a doubt. Looking ahead then to later on this week, we've got Epsom, the Oaks on Friday, the Derby on Saturday. I don't know what to make of it. Certainly from the Aidan O'Brien point of view, I'm not sure what to make of it. The City of Troy. Do you believe Aidan? Do you believe what you see with your own eyes? Which way are you going, Emma?
Derby. Look, I think it's a fairly weak renewal of it. I think anyone will kind of agree with that. Like, looking through it, I think the City of Troy around 2 to 1. Behind him, then you've, I think, Ambiently Friendly is kind of high up in the market, and Los Angeles as well. There's plenty of good word about him recently as well. But like, look, I think I'm kind of being swayed a little bit into the City of Troy camp. Just the confidence from the stable around him. I don't think Aidan will be putting his neck on the line this much if they weren't fairly sure. He can do an awful lot better. Like, I suppose looking at the winner of the Irish 1,000 Guineas, like she blew out Newark as well, and she bounced back. Like, at the same time though, like even if he had won the Guineas, like there still would be a question mark about him staying in the Derby, even though Johnny kind of mentioned the trip to Aidan there a few weeks ago. He seemed to think that the trip wouldn't be any kind of issue. But like, just looking at what else is in the race, it looks like a pretty weak renewal, and I don't think City of Troy would have to be the superstar that they're even bidding him to be to win it. Like stablemate Los Angeles for me probably looks like the biggest danger at the moment. I actually would have been fairly keen on Diego Velasquez, but it looks like he'd probably be going to the French Derby. But like there is no whole quite a depth in the race, and I wouldn't be shocked at all to see City of Troy bouncing back.
Yeah, interesting. For me now, as you mentioned there's a very good word for Los Angeles. I'm hearing very good reports of this horse supposed to be working really well down in Ballydoyle. He looks the each way betting it to me, rather than taking the chance on is Aidan telling the truth, or is it all going to come to fruition like it did last year? Look, he did the same with Augustus Rodan last year, flopped in the Guineas, wins the Derby. So maybe we'll see the same. What do you think, Johnny?
Yeah, like Aidan, I've never seen Aidan criticise his horses. He's very unique in that regard. He never. It's almost like they're his children. He never calls them out for anything. And maybe if you ask him off the record what he made of the progeny of Warfront, maybe he might have an answer. But even that, I've never gotten him to criticise his horses. But as Emma says, like the way he's been speaking about this horse is quite remarkable. He was an outstanding 2-year-old, and you have to remember, like he had him absolutely like 6 lengths back when they clashed as 2-year-olds, like, and Hatton has developed into a very good horse, and he wasn't in the same league as him as a 2-year-old. So the hype last year was justified. Like, he wasn't a million miles off Frankel as a 2-year-old at all. I just don't know what to make of the run at Newmarket, and I wouldn't be certain he'll get a mile and a half either, for all that he's kind of bred to. So I'd be kind of with Los Angeles as well. I don't think he's a star. Like, he's rated 111, and he won. He was strong at the line in a Mudland trial. He's by Camelot. He's not the most flashily bred horse by any stretch in the race. But it's just not a very strong race. You know, the winner of the Chester Vase for me would have been my idea of the winner of the Derby, but he only lasted like a few seconds after the race, which was really tragic in equine terms. Agenda, who was second in that race, he's a horse I like. I thought he might be supplemented, but he's not been supplemented. And it just doesn't look a very strong race. It's kind of the contenders have just kind of fallen by the wayside a bit. And the problem with backing Anthem that isn't City of Troy in the race, if you're an Aidan O'Brien fan, is that he said in no uncertain terms he's by far the best of them, essentially. I'm paraphrasing, he said he's 100% our best horse in the Derby. So if you're backing anything else, you know, basically according to Aidan, they're inferior to the favourite, who in my view has questions to answer. But I don't think Los Angeles is a star by any stretch. I think he will run a big race.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's look at the other one, the Oaks Friday. Again, it's Aidan O'Brien towards the head of it. Yalang, and Rubies Are Red. We've also got a Dermot Well contender, Ezelia, which won in Navan. What do you make of that, Emma?
I'm a fairly big fan of Rubies Are Red. In that, to be honest, look, I suppose Yalang is a shorter price of the two. She'll arrive on one in the Guineas, but Rubies Are Red, she's a sister of Found, I think, if I'm right. I thought her comeback run there in Linkfield was just pretty eye-catching. Like, she was a mile back, if I remember right, and she made up an awful lot of ground. She shortened a fair bit in the betting now since I last looked at it. I think she's second favourite now. Dermot Well has Azalea as well. She beat Purple Lily, I think, wasn't it, in Navan? He spoke pretty highly of her as well. But I'm not probably the biggest fan of Yalang. I think she can be a little bit in and out. But she did run a nice race in the Guineas. But I'm probably going to side with Rubies Are Red, and I'd say Aidan probably will get his first classic win of the year in the Oaks. He's a fairly strong one in that one.
What do you make of it, Johnny? Similar opinion?
Yeah, Red Evie, her dam, like she said, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think eight horses, and possibly even 9, and they've all won and Found, as Emma said, she'd be comfortably the best of them. But I do like Rubies Are Red. That one in the trial, she went in as a maiden to Linkfield, was a very, very good run. And Aidan sort of gave the impression she's very much learning on the job. She's rated 97, which like is incredible, really. Like, it's really, really low for a horse who could well go off favourite in the Oaks, but there's no doubt she's clearly better than that. Alang, I definitely liked her run in Newmarket. I thought it was very, very positive. Like, she did stay on. She was only beating a length. She's bred for a good bit further. But I'd probably be siding with her, and I'd probably be siding with Rubies Are Red. I didn't get any negatives from Aidan, certainly when we were at the yard. And Azalea is interesting as well. I thought Purple Lily ran very well in the Guineas. I think she only finished 5th, but she ran her race. It was a rock solid run, and Azalea was all out to beat her at Navan. Stepping up in trip, she's interesting. But this is one race I think Ireland has a massive, massive chance in.
Yeah, I'd agree. It looks like that one will definitely go to the Irish one. Probably the Derby will as well, you'd imagine. There's a good chance, at least, certainly with the way the betting suggests it, with City of Troy and everything else. Anyway, looking at one other thing from last week, I see Willie Mullins is back on the score sheet in the UK in the British Trainers' Championship. He'd fine margin, won at Fontwell yesterday. He's another one. Only a matter of time, entered for Warwick on Thursday. He's making an early start, is he? Get the money on the board.
He is. He's picking up probably 3 or 4 grand hurdles. I suppose. Look, was Paul Burns? He always kind of like to send a few over. I suppose. I'm not sure. Is it really an early title challenge? But I was actually looking at. We have a horse running a bumper in Wexford on Wednesday, and you kind of expect a Wexford bumper this time of the year to be fairly weak. But Willie has a half brother, Sir Gerhard, running him the Hurricane Fly Silks. So kind of a testament to there's no really weak races in Ireland anymore, even at this time of the year. But yeah, Willie's probably gonna have a strong hand all the way out throughout the summer, I'd say, isn't he?
Yeah, and even the British are finding that when he's sending 10-1 on chances to go and win Fontwell maiden hurdles. It could be a long year for them over there as well as over here. Anyway, let's look at a horse to follow and pick out one maybe from last weekend. I'll start off with one that I thought was very impressive. But he was very impressive. That's why I'm picking him. Jan Bruegel, Galileo colt, won 8 lengths up the Curragh on Saturday. Very impressive. Did all the best of his work in the last furlong. Sprinted clear. Ryan Moore is saying Royal Ascot will come too soon. He's thinking the Gordon Stakes at Goodwood would be a likely target. Maybe win a winners of one in the meantime. Think it's a horse to follow. Only coming out as a 3-year-old, one of the last Galileos as well. What do you make of it, Johnny? Did you like that performance, or have you got something else you think was even better?
Yeah, that was definitely taking performance. And as you say, we're coming to the end of the kind of the Galileos now. But like, Jesus, like to win by 8 lengths in I mean, you don't get weak Cora Maidens this time of year. And like Ozark Days, who's second, made the run and rated 87. So this could be, if not the last for Amir, this could be the last of the really good Galileos. Possibly, Aidan didn't give me the impression that these 2-year-olds are they're certainly not precocious. I think the ones he had. Again, he's by a dam that's produced an absolute load of winners. So I'm opposing your selection with reluctance. So I go with something else. And I thought it was really class racing over the weekend at the Curragh, and I'm going to go with Cadogan, who was. I actually thought this horse had won when they crossed the line in the opening maiden on the Saturday. There was like a neck basically between 3 of them. Henri Matisse, who was sent off favourite, seemed to be very well touted, and he showed a bit of class. But Cadogan, who was also first time out, missed the break as well. Son of Far, very, very interesting horse, I think, going forward. He's going to be a very, very smart 2-year-old. That was over 6 furlongs. He's going to stay a good bit further than that. And I'd be very interested to see what they do with him. Will he go to Royal Ascot? Because he looks smart.
Yeah, good stuff. Emma, what did you pick out?
I'm going to go for a slightly different one. I thought Rogue Millennium, she didn't get much of a run there in the Curragh yesterday. She was sent off fairly short price. I suppose she cost, was it 1.6 million or something at the mare sale there last December. But she didn't get much of a run, but she won the Duke of Cambridge, I'm sure, in Royal Ascot last year. And she's entered it again this year. I'd say coming off that run, she could be fairly hard to beat in Ascot. And I'll definitely be backing her if she shows up there again. So
Mark Boylan was on a podcast with me last week as well, and he was saying that Joseph has more or less made the opinion that he's going to train the older horses a little bit to give them time, like this year, that, you know, it's a long season, and I'd be with them. I thought that was a very promising start. I know she costs a lot of money, but they're going to have a lot of fun with her before she goes to the paddocks.
All right, well, here's one last little thought about the flat season generally in Ireland. Who's going to be champion jockey? What do you think, Johnny? Have you got an opinion on it?
Yeah, it's probably not something I put much thought into, although it was funny. I was in Sligo, I think the Sunday was it after Punchestown, and I was slagging Billy and Colin Keane that they were neck and neck, even though there's only like 8 months to go or whatever it is. That day they were level on level terms, and you know, I suppose Ger Lyons has said he's in transition, and you know, I still think he'll have a good year. He mightn't quite have the numbers maybe in terms of quality that he would have had in recent years. It's all cyclical and all that, but Colin will get plenty of support elsewhere. But just looking at the table now as I speak here, you know, the thing with Billy Lee is that he will have he'll have obviously Willie McCreary, he'll have a lot of sort of you know, other trainers to help him as well. But the Paddy Toomey one is very interesting because Paddy Toomey has, I think he's, what did he say? He's about 52-year-olds, and I'm paraphrasing here, but he has a lot. And Shane Foley as well has had like a really good start. So he's like, I'm just looking now. I didn't realize how close they were at the top. I'd still be with Colin Keane. I think he'll probably get enough outside rides to do it, but it's going to be, I think it's going to be a bigger battle and a more competitive battle than Willie's quest to win the trainers title in Britain if he's sending 1 to 9 shots over to England in May.
Yeah, what do you think, Emma? Just that Irish Jockeys Championship, there's quite a few contenders, isn't there? Dylan Brown McMonigal has to come into it, Shane Foley, Billy Lee, maybe even Ryan Moore if he was here more often, but certainly when he comes over for a weekend, he doubles and trebles up whenever he feels like it.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose I think Ryan has 20 winners already. Shane Foley's top with 28. Like, I suppose the kind of winning of the Jockey Championship will probably be like the evenings in Sligo and Roscommon, which, you know, Ryan probably isn't going to do. So yeah, look, he'll probably be right up there, but you'd imagine like the likes of Shane Foley, Colin Keane, Billy Lee, they'll put in kind of more hours, I suppose, than Ryan. I just thought what was most interesting about it is like we were, I suppose, all kind of wrapped up in the Jack Eddy, Paul Townend title race, but I think Jack and Paul like both would have ridden probably for less than 10 trainers throughout the year, especially like maybe towards the end of the season. They might have only ridden for maybe less than 5 trainers until it really came into the heat of the battle, I suppose, of the Jockey Championship. But like just quick look at the top 3 there, in the flat jockeys championship, they're all pretty tied up, but like they've all seemed to have ridden for at least 15, 20 different trainers already at this point of the season. So it's a much bigger spread on the flat than it is in the jumps, and I think that kind of makes it a little bit more interesting as well. They're not really relying on any big stable, I think, to get them the winners. They all seem to be kind of spreading themselves around. But like Johnny mentioned there, I think Billy Lee has a really good chance at this. Like, he seems to be connected to a few of the pretty, like, maybe not bigger stables, but really powerful, kind of like the likes of Paddy Toomey and Woody McCreary. Like, they're going to give him an awful lot of winners. And I think I'd imagine Colin Keane is still probably a very short price favourite, but I think it would be nice to see Billy Lee getting his first title. He went close there a couple of years ago, so it would be nice to see.
Interesting as well, Dylan Brown, he did a feature with Darragh O'Connor in the Irish Field a couple of months back, and the headline from the feature is that it's 100% dedication or nothing. And if he has, I don't know Dylan Brown well, but like everyone raves about him, and if he's going to put his heart and soul into the jockey's title this year with the artillery that he's going to have and the ability he has, like he's possibly the most talented rider in Ireland. Some people debate that maybe, but he's well up there anyway. It's going to be a hell of a race.
Yeah, it's beginning to look like he is number one in Joseph's now, isn't it? With the riding arrangements, he seems to ride far more of the fancied horses than Declan McDonough or anyone else within the yard. So he probably is going to have a shot at it, I would have thought. But I suppose he needs to get a few winners on the board and start catching the lads in front of him at this stage. Anyway, look, if you are having a bet, do gamble responsibly and make sure to subscribe to our channel if you already haven't, so you can catch up on all the different videos we have throughout the weekend. We'll be back on Friday with another form scan looking at the weekend's action in Epsom.
Sorry, it'll be Thursday this week with Tanya Stevenson, because we're going to get the Oaks in as well. So.
Oh, even better. There you go. Thursday. See, that's why you need to subscribe to the channel. Otherwise, you would have missed it like I would have. Anyway, that's it for now. And next week, we'll be back on the Tuesday, not the Monday, because Monday is a bank holiday. So we'll be back on the Tuesday to have a look and recap on all that happened at Epsom. And enjoy your week. And hopefully you do make a few quid somewhere along the way. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.